public have no idea that the ISS is located in an underwater neutral buoyancy lab in Houston, Texas. The space station footage that they trick us with is not traveling at 17,500 miles per hour above your head. It's all being filmed here on Earth. It's a pretty simple process. Film your footage underwater, remove the water layer, add in your CGI Earth layer, and cast your spell.
Bro, what is that? Tonight, I went back into the dark side of TikTok, and you guys still won't believe what I found. Welcome back, family. Well, as y'all know, I always bring the scariest, creepiest, darkest, freaking the most everythingest video to you guys. So today, we're going to be exploring the dark side once again. As I told y'all in my last video, YouTube has actually been limiting a lot of these videos just because of the things that they expose. You know what I'm saying? They don't want it to go to the public. They don't want people to see it. So if you guys could hype the video up, like it, subscribe, and just interact with it so the algorithm's actually forced to push the video so more people could see it. Before the video starts though, I just want to thank my channel members. I have something big coming for all my channel members in the upcoming months. And if you haven't subscribed yet, remember to smash that subscribe button, join the family. Let's go.
When this guy was feeding the octopus at the aquarium, it suddenly jumped out and started crawling across the floor, trying to escape for good. Immediately, the trainer let it move around to see how far it could go, and it got close to a pipe that would have led straight to the ocean, but the trainer stopped it just in time and threw it back into the tank. Knowing the octopus wanted to escape, the trainer decided to put a lid on the tank, and he kept it tightly closed for 2 years. But one night, a cleaning staff member came by in a hurry and accidentally left the lid slightly open. As soon as the employee left, the octopus started fiddling with it using its tentacles until it managed to lift it completely, and with no trainer around to stop it, it began to crawl across the floor once again. After reaching the pipe, it dove straight in, being carried by the current all the way to the ocean. When the trainer arrived the next morning, he accepted the octopus's freedom and did nothing to bring it back.
For those who don't actually know, octopi, I think they're called, are actually some of the smartest animals on this planet. They're so smart that they actually ended up building cities underwater. And my other question is, why does a zoo have a pipe that leads to the ocean? I'm dead. When I was watching this video, someone in the comment literally said, so they could dump waste in the ocean. That's actually kind of funny.
Want to get creeped out? Let's talk about the Answer Man ritual. This is a ritual where you ask the Answer Man for any knowledge that you basically desire to have, but beware the questions that you will have to answer in return and the risk of what you might lose if you answer one of his questions incorrectly. So for this game or ritual, which I do not suggest you do, I have to say that every time, okay? I'm sorry that I'm fun and I like to share creepy rituals and games and stories, but don't do it. But I will tell you how, but don't do it. Anyway, so you need 10 people and you need 10 burner phones. 10 people sit in a circle and each person gives their phone number to the person on their right, or get the phone number from the person on your left, because that's who you'll be calling. And make sure you put them in the phone as a contact so that it's quick when you need to call them. There will be one person who is in charge of counting to 3, and make sure they specify whether it's on 3 or immediately after 3 when each person will call the person to their left. So everyone is calling each other at the same time. If all calls go to voicemail or a busy signal, the ritual did not work and you have to try again later, not in like 10 minutes, but like a couple hours at least. If 9 people experience their call going to voicemail or to a busy signal, then that means this worked. The one other person will get through to the Answer Man. This person can ask the Answer Man any question that they want an answer to. Once he has answered their question, he will ask them a question in return. It is imperative that they answer honestly and correctly to his question, and no lying directly or by omission. The person who got through to the Answer Man can repeat this process as many times as they want. But if you do answer one of the Answer Man's questions incorrectly when he asks you a question, you'll start to feel a certain part of your body tingling. It could be a finger, it could be a toe, it could be your head. One day, he will take this body part from you as payment. It could be by some physical accident or illness, and it could be soon, and it could be years from now, but he will take it. Here's some more information about the ritual. The person who gets through to the Answer Man is not to pass that phone around for everybody to ask questions. The Answer Man answers to one person only, and that's the person who got through to him in the first place. When they're ready to end the call, they have to tell the Answer Man that they must go. There's a good chance that the Answer Man will try to stop you from hanging up. And he'll do this by offering up knowledge for free, potentially very enticing knowledge. Do not stay on the line. Repeatedly tell the Answer Man that you must go. If you're persistent enough, the Answer Man will hang up. Destroy all burner phones used during the ritual once the ritual is done. Destroy them no matter what. Otherwise, you might find something trying to call you back. Now, if you have not been persistent enough in telling the Answer Man that you must go, if he has kept you on the line so that you can hear this enticing free knowledge. Prepare yourself for the question he will ask you next. It will not be like his questions before, and it might be impossible to answer. Lastly, do not hang up on the answer man. It will not end well for you. Let me know if you want to know about people who have tried this ritual, and I'll see you next time.
The FBI is now investigating UFC because they say over 100 fights were potentially rigged. Put on your tinfoil hats, this one gets crazy. It began with this fight last weekend, Isaac Dulgarian. Fans watching this immediately knew when he got tapped in the first round, something was up, and they were right. First of all, the odds dropped significantly right before the fight because a handful of huge bets came in on him to lose in the first round. An MMA journalist now claims the FBI would have told the UFC about this change and asked them to pull the fight, which UFC never did. And then this week, bettors who either bet on Dulgarian or had him as a leg in their parlay were refunded their bets. Vegas does not give back money. Something is going on here. And then it goes deeper. Dulgarian originally trained under this guy, James Krause. James Krause was in the middle of one of the biggest betting scandals in UFC history. Not only was he in the middle of the scandal, he also had deals with offshore sportsbooks and helped run other people's offshore betting accounts. And by the way, 2 other fights from just this card are also being investigated because of bizarre line movements and bizarre performances from the fighters or the judges. This includes the FBI potentially auditing fights refereed by Jason Herzog. I'll keep you guys updated on here. Drop a follow for sports news and breakdowns every single day.
Padre cielo que estás en lo nuestro. Ay, Santa María, Madre Purísima.
9/11 ritual continues. Let's get into it. Now, a multitude of things happened over the past couple days, starting with the death of the former Vice President Dick Cheney, who died on November 3rd, who was Vice President at the time of 9/11. Then we have the first Muslim mayor of New York City, Mamdani, winning the election. Then we have a plane crash, which was a UPS carrier that went down in Louisville, in which was flight 2976. Now, can anybody tell me how many victims, excluding the hijackers, died in 9/11? Yeah, 2976. Same number. Now, that was on the FBI website, but if you go to Wikipedia, it actually says 2977. If you add Dick Cheney's death, he's that last person. Now, where did this plane crash? At the Muhammad Ali International Airport. Now, who did they say that was one of the hijackers responsible for 9/11? Khalid Muhammad. Coincidence? Let's keep going. Now, in that plane crash, the Louisville mayor stated that there was 9 people that got killed and 11 others injured. What? And this thing just keeps going because the type of plane it was decommissioned from the passenger service on October 26, 2014, in which from the time it went down, 9 days, 11 years. Now, going back to Mamdani, he was born October 18th, 1991. From that time to when Trump got inaugurated in office this year, it was 33 years, 3 months, and 3 days. You mean to tell me that the tower stood 33 years before they fell? And let's not forget that Trump is from New York. Not to mention that UPS plane only reached 175 feet before crashing, right? You guys, that's the same flight number as the second plane in 9/11. How? And the cherry on top, they said that second plane had a 33% load factor. Got it. If you guys don't think that we live in a matrix by now, I can't help you. Make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube Maverick Approach and let me know what you guys think about all this down below.
He was exploring a graveyard at night when he sees this. A horrifying video was uploaded by user Frankly2112 on YouTube while out in an old cemetery that dates back to the early 1800s. Frankly and his brother make their way down the dark cemetery when something haunting is captured. From a dark, wooded area, we can see this ghostly figure quickly make his way towards Frankly. Whatever this is seems to be holding some kind of light, like a lantern. Not noticing it, he turns around for just a moment. As he looks again, the figure suddenly vanishes back into the trees. Now, this video was posted on his YouTube account 7 years ago with no update. So, was this the spirit of an old gravekeeper wandering the land? Just what exactly was captured that night? Let me know what you believe.
Wait till you hear what Mr. Beast just said about Antarctica and the ice wall on Aiden Ross's live stream. I want you to pay attention to his body language as well, guys.
Wait, have you ever been to Antarctica? Yeah. Do you believe in the ice wall?
Yeah, I saw the ice wall.
Well,
Yeah, he saw it too.
I can't say on stream. No way, but
Because
we'll talk about it later.
Let's just say you always need someone with you when you're in Antarctica.
See how he tightened up and got all nervous and then went on to say that he can't talk about what he saw on live stream. Now, why is that? Don't you find it interesting that for the first time in recorded history, every single nation in the world came together, put aside their differences, and agreed upon one thing? They agreed that Antarctica would mark the only global treaty that's ever been done. A place of peace where there's no borders, just mystery. And if you try to go independently explore Antarctica, you'll be met with military. So what is it that they're hiding? I'm going to show you a clip of the last man that explored Antarctica and what he had to say about this place.
Explored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans? Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America.
But we claim that there was more lands beyond the South Pole. Well, what's interesting about this is when we look at old maps, they always depict more lands beyond Antarctica. Antarctica is not what you've been told. It's a 360-degree ice wall that encompasses our stationary Earth. It contains the oceans. Because water needs a container, it is an ice wall, just like they mentioned in the stream. And this is what that ice wall looks like. And many people, just like myself and Mr. Beast, obviously know that there are lands beyond. That's why there's a treaty here. They don't want us discovering it. They want us staying in this literal matrix here they trap us in. This is the United Nations logo. This is a flat Earth map with Antarctica around us, encompassing our stationary Earth. There's also 33 individual sections to this logo, guys, marking 33 degrees of Freemasonry. The United Nations are full of 33rd degree Freemasons, all deceiving humanity, and they put it right in your face. You don't get to the level of fame that Mr. Beast does unless you're, with him. And I'll leave you guys with this. This is a map that hangs inside of the United Nations headquarters. Have a look at this, guys. Have a look at the lands beyond. The truth is always in plain sight. Peace.
This is part 1 of my new series where I talk about celebrity ghost stories. This story is about Joan Rivers. So if you like her and you like ghosts, this is the place for you. This story starts in the late 1980s. At the time, Joan Rivers was living in LA and she was going through a rough patch. She had just been fired from her late night talk show and her husband had tragically taken his own life. So she is going through it. She decides, you know what, I'm gonna start fresh. She sells her home in LA and she decides she wants to move back to New York City. Her friend tells her about this beautiful white stone building in Manhattan where the top floor is available to buy. It's this old ballroom that hasn't been lived in a while, and when Joan looks at it, it's got good bones. It's a beautiful apartment, but it just isn't in good shape. So she looks at this like, this is kind of like a metaphor for my life. So I'm gonna take this apartment and I'm gonna fix it up and it's gonna be beautiful by the time I'm done with it. And at first, everything was fine until it wasn't. So it's a hot, gross August night in New York City. Joan is in the middle of fixing up the apartment. She decides to go up there and she gets inside, and even though it's really hot and gross out, it is freezing cold in this apartment. That's never a good sign. And she notices that her dog is just kind of standing in the threshold of the doorway and it's refusing to come into the apartment. He normally just runs right in, no worries at all, but today he will not cross that threshold. And then she looks on the wall and she sees what looks like just a ton of like graffitis, and she's like, what happened? Somebody must have broken in. So she's feeling weird. She decides, I'm just gonna go. She gets in the elevator and she says to the elevator man, I think someone broke into my apartment. There's writing all over the walls. It's freezing cold. My dog won't go inside. And the elevator man says, I guess Mrs. Spencer is back. Mrs. Spencer is actually the niece of JP Morgan, who at one point owned this building. She was living in the apartment that Joan Rivers had bought, and this is actually where she passed away. So she's been known to kind of mess with people throughout the building in a really like negative, angry way. It's not like playful. This lady is angry. She's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I feel uncomfortable in my own home, but I've put all my money into this house and I don't really have anywhere to go. I want to make this work. So she decides that she wants to get somebody to come in and try to help her rid her house of this angry Mrs. Spencer spirit. So she's calling around, and eventually she gets paired up with a voodoo high priestess from New Orleans. So the voodoo priestess comes over, and the story is about Joan Rivers. So if you like her and you like ghosts, this is the place for you. So she's calling around, and eventually she gets paired up with a voodoo high priestess from New Orleans. So the voodoo priestess comes over, and they're doing this whole ceremony. She said that they did like chanting and drumming, and there were candles. Voodoo priestess tells her that Mrs. Spencer is very angry. She feels like this is her home, this is her building. She feels like she is still the one that is in charge here, and she's just like, who are these people? Like, what are they doing with my building? I hate this. So she's pissed. Joan said that this ceremony was very scary. And about an hour and a half into it, the voodoo priestess just kind of announces she's gone. And Joan Rivers said that it immediately got warmer. Her dog ran into the apartment, was running around just like normal, and everything just felt a lot lighter. So she feels so relieved. Everything's fine for a little while, and then eventually things kind of start up again. So she starts pleading with Mrs. Spencer. She's like, I put all my money in this apartment. Like, I have to make this work. Like, please just work with me. One night, she is down in the basement with a maintenance man. She sees there's a portrait laying there. So she digs it out, and it's a filthy old portrait of this beautiful, grand woman. So she goes to the night doorman. She's like, do you know who this is? And he said, yeah, that's Mrs. Spencer. So she decides to clean up that portrait and hang it in the lobby of the building. After she does this, she gets a call from the voodoo priestess, and she says, I've had a visit from Mrs. Spencer. She knows that her portrait is now hanging in the lobby, and she's very pleased. She also said that she really loves everything you're doing with the ballroom upstairs, and she loves that you always have fresh flowers around. So Joan Rivers lived in this apartment up until she passed away in 2014, and she kept fresh flowers there for Mrs. Spencer the entire time she lived there. She said that she could feel Mrs. Spencer's presence in there a lot, and it felt like kind of like a protective, sort of comforting vibe, like they were friends. So I love this story. I loved Joan Rivers. May she rest in peace, and I really hope that her and Mrs. Spencer were able to actually meet eventually. If you like this story, please hit the follow button and stick around for part 2.
Creepy Real Photos That Keep Me Up at Night Part 5. This photo was posted to Facebook with the caption, taken at a McDonald's. We thought our daughter was alone in this playground at the time. The face on the left was not visible at the time I took this. When she was asked who was next to her in the pic, she replied, that's my imaginary friend Beto. Yeah. Hi, Beto. It's crazy how you can see her legs here, but there's no legs under Beto. What do you make of this one? Follow for more creepy real photos.
I'm trying to figure out is why are kids' imaginary friends always just super scary? Like, why can't it just be some playful little, like, you know, like a happy person?
It's 1993, and one of the most disturbing episodes of talk show TV was aired. It's the Phil Donahue Show, one of the greatest talk shows in all of TV history. And it actually starts out kind of adorable. He's holding a little baby, and the mother of the baby is sitting right next to him, and the baby he's holding is actually a really big deal.
Hannah is more famous than she ever wanted to be.
A single photo of the baby went all over the news, and this was the first time that this baby was being seen. And the unique thing about the baby is that it's missing an entire arm.
She's lost an arm, to be sure. How did this happen?
And the reason why is where this gets disturbing. I was sent this article from Carol Novielli at Live Action News. It writes how the mom, when she was pregnant, actually went to get an abortion for the baby. She went to New York to see this abortionist, Dr. Abu Hyatt. The 20-year-old mom is 8 months pregnant going in for an abortion. And apparently they strapped her down, like with stirrups. And she sees Dr. Abu insert a dirty 4-inch needle into her stomach. Now she's having a change of mind. She said she could hear a woman screaming in other rooms in the clinic. She asks him to stop. She's changed her mind. But Dr. Abu reassures her it's all going to be fine, and he keeps going with the procedure. And as he's scraping around in her room, pulls off an arm of the baby. He looks at the arm and he realizes hey, this baby's a little bit older than what you guys told me. He stops the procedure and sends them home, and the mom is in so much pain, she eventually goes to the hospital, where about 12 hours after the procedure, the baby is born alive, but not intact. The baby girl is born without an arm. And Phil Donahue was one of the first to interview the mom and her baby. And this is where it's messed up, because Phil Donahue was an extreme supporter of abortion. And now he's holding this baby on the show saying, oh, it's adorable, and this baby's going to be a great addition to society. Thank goodness she survived.
We are proud to present this very healthy little girl who is quite obviously going to grow up to be a very, very talented, performing, contributing member of our society.
But if Dr. Abu had succeeded in the abortion and the baby had died, he would have fully supported that and the mother's choice to have her baby murdered. It's so sick and demented. This needs to end.
Yeah, this comment might be very, very like off topic and very off, but when I used to play video games when I was younger, they used to call people failed abortions. And I always thought to myself, how do you fail an abortion? And then I'd look at these videos, I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
23-year-old guy was planning on marrying a 9-year-old at Disneyland.
What?
This was recent.
The happiest place in the world?
Yes, in the happiest place in the world. Apparently, in Disneyland Paris, you can get married on the park. A bunch of people have done it for, I guess, years. People have been doing this where they'll go over there, you know, plan a wedding, do it over there. So this year, recently, there was a scheduled wedding that was supposed to happen sometime in these last couple months. And, you know, they let the park know, the staff has to know, everybody has to know about this, right? I guess the staff ends up going to the area, and when they see who the bride is, they're instantly like, this has to be a joke. This can't be real. It's a 9-year-old girl marrying this 23-year-old dude, and she was like a little Ukrainian girl, and the guy is from like the UK. He's like some guy from the UK. Instantly, they're like, bro, we gotta call the police. They come down immediately, bro. They are shocked. This blew my mind too.
Wait, were there people in attendance?
There was 100 guests there in attendance.
bugging.
I'm not even playing. There was 100 guests at this wedding, including the 9-year-old girl's mom.
What?
I swear to God. The craziest part about it was the dude, who's the 23-year-old guy, he's saying that it was all for social media and it was just a video he was trying to make.
And it can't be cheap. Like, weddings are already expensive. A wedding at Disneyland has got to be dummy ass
I was just gonna say,
bro.
he paid $150,000 to rent out and schedule the day for this wedding.
That's crazy.
Immediately, the police were just like, bro, we're not buying your bullshit. You're arrested. So they take her and bro in. They take both of them in, and basically, we don't know how long they're gonna get arrested because this shit is so fresh.
That dude was sure plotting some.
He was on
gross
some
things to
nefarious
do.
stuff,
Yeah,
bro.
for sure.
This was Heidi Klum's Halloween costume this year. One of Kim Kardashian's recent Halloween costumes.
During a live TV show, Brazilian presenter Silvio Santos shocked everyone when his teeth started to look terrifying. They appeared sharp and pointy. His teeth even seemed to change shape constantly, like they were trying to return to normal. It clearly wasn't bad oral health either, because this is what his usual smile looks like. But the strange part is, he wasn't the only one. Many other famous personalities had also been caught on camera with their teeth transforming the same way. All these videos couldn't be just a coincidence. Could this be a slip that revealed their true identity?
There's a few places in the Bible where God sends fiery serpents among the people. They walk among us. They live among us. They're out to get us. Jesus gives every one of his followers the authority to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. Nothing shall hurt you when you are a follower of Christ. This is a built-in protection for this type of thing.
What's your problem? I said, what's your problem?
All right, today, sir. Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, sir. Here you are, sir. Thank you.
God is a perfect judge. He has to allow them to do certain things when we transgress, because we've now broken our part. Now they have legal grounds over us. And I'm talking, yes, about the fallen and the reptiles and whatever else they are. The judgment is supposed to act as something that shakes people awake. So if you have eyes to see and you understand what's going on in the world around you, please, please, please ask God to show himself to you. He absolutely will. Grab a Bible and join us. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead instead expose them, for it is shameful even to speak of the things that they do in secret. But when anything is exposed by the light, it becomes visible, for anything that becomes visible is light. Therefore it says, awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. When you're a follower of Christ, you literally stomp on these things. They have zero power over us. If you do not know Christ, now is the time, now that these things are starting to show themselves.
So back in 2017, the World Economic Forum tweeted out this: "Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better." And knowing now that one of the largest hurricanes in Jamaican history has just hit Jamaica recently doesn't really sit right with me, knowing that they have something called Vision 2030 Jamaica. That's kind of weird, right? And then we had the wildfires with LA, one of the largest wildfires to ever hit Los Angeles, and now they're building something called Smart LA 28. Just in time for the Olympics. And what makes it even more weird is that there was a show that was canceled on Netflix in 2018 called Disjointed. And I feel like this clip right here that I'm about to show you guys is one of the reasons that it got canceled. Pay attention.
I win. Cheryl, it's not a race. That's what losers say. What is that? The truth.
Every time a new baby is born, the Federal Reserve issues a secret birth certificate printed by a company called the American Bank. That way, the government can use people as currency to back the debt they have with the World Economic Forum.
If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. And if it's white, well, just say goodnight. This isn't some nursery rhyme. It's literally the survival guide for dealing with bears. Because here's the thing. Bears are basically nature's mood swings on 4 legs. And how you react could be the difference between what a cool bear encounter, or this was his last known selfie. So let's break it down. If it's a grizzly, brown bear, you've got a chance. These guys don't like eating dead things, so your best move is to play dead. Yep, drop down, cover your neck, and pray you're good at acting because you're now auditioning for Bear Bait the Motion Picture. But if it's a black bear, there's no Oscar performance that'll save you. These guys don't care if you're dead, alive, or just having an existential crisis. You're still on the menu. So your best option? Fight back. Make yourself look big, scream, throw whatever you have, basically channel your inner WWE superstar. And then there's the polar bear. If you see one of these snow-stalking murder tanks, just know you're probably on the menu. Polar bears are the only bears that actively hunt humans. So if you're face-to-face with one, I hope you've got a solid life insurance plan because your chances are about as good as a snowball's in, well, the Arctic. Oh, and a fun little bonus fact, bears can smell their food from miles away. So if you're hiking with a backpack full of snacks, just know they've already put in their Uber Eats order. And you're the delivery guy.
This cult literally poisoned an entire town to try to gain political control of this county.
What the hell?
And it was this cult called Rajneesh. I think they were named after the leader of the cult. I think his name was Rajneesh. Mind you, this cult already succeeded on doing this before. Not by poisoning a whole town, but they were actually able to take control of this other town in Oregon called Antelope, Oregon.
Really?
And they changed the name to Rajneesh, Oregon.
You're lying. Wait, when was this?
It happened in 1984. Their plan was they wanted to take control of this entire county. They planned on poisoning that entire town, Dales, Oregon, with salmonella. They ended up getting like salmonella from like Seattle or something like that.
Yeah.
They went to like the main courthouse in Dales, rubbed it all over doorknobs and urinals and all types of stuff around the courthouse. And they got a bunch of the people sick who were actually going to start running for county. But then they realized like, okay, we got these guys sick.
Yeah.
But people could still vote for them. We got to get the voters sick now. They went to 10 restaurants in the area, sprayed salmonella all over these salad bars, all over these buffets, all over doorknobs, all over bathrooms in these restaurants. And in total, they got 751 people sick with salmonella in that town. But no one died though. Surprisingly, no one died from this.
Yeah.
They just got super sick to the point where the FBI had to get involved and be like, why is so much people in this town
getting salmonella?
Getting sick off of salmonella? Like something happened. Pretty much like the people that are below the leader ended up going off to Europe and running off to Europe. They end up going to their compound of the cult, they find hella vials of like
Salmonella.
pure salmonella all throughout their compound. So they're immediately like, all right,
it's you guys.
We got you guys.
Yeah.
So they end up arresting the leader, and they go out to Europe and arrest all the people who try to flee from the United States as well.
Wow, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Guys, this is why it's always important to wash your hands.
If you see bees doing this, don't get close.
In general, if you see honeybees doing this, there's not too much that you should be concerned about, but I still wouldn't recommend getting close. This TikTok that I got tagged in shows a bunch of bees covering their hive, and during the video, the bees start making a mesmerizing pattern, but no, this is not for aesthetics, this actually has a function. Bees have an enemy that they particularly do not like, that being the hornet, and they've come up with a few different defense mechanisms to prevent hornets from attacking them. The first way is through these intimidating patterns. The bees will gather together, they will lift up their abdomens, and every single time this happens, it sends a ripple through the hive. Usually this is quite effective, but if this doesn't work and the hornets still attack, bees will actually pile onto the hornet and start moving around rapidly, generating heat, and this will literally cook the hornet to the point of no longer being alive. And despite the fact that hornets are much bigger, bees have the number advantage, so this works most of the time. For bees, it's all about the colony and working together, and this is exactly how they stay alive.
So you tell me if like an army of hornets attack a beehive, who would win?
His dad held his 3 kids hostage for over a decade to make them start a band.
What?
Yeah, he forced them to start a band. This actually took place in New Hampshire in the 1960s is when all this started. And the kids were 3 girls who were actually teenagers. So the father, his life was super interesting where I guess when he was younger, his mother, so their grandma, was actually a fortune teller. One day his mom, when he was a kid, told him that he was going to marry a blonde woman, he was going to have 2 boys and 3 girls. And also that his daughters were going to be like a huge worldwide sensation being a band.
Oh, wow.
The dad was like, what the hell? Like, whatever. My mom doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. Years go by, and everything that she said came true. He had 5 kids. He had 2 boys and 3 girls, just like his mom said.
Whoa.
And he married a blonde woman. So the only thing that hasn't came true yet is them becoming this huge band. So he's thinking, I gotta make this happen quicker. Like, I gotta make it happen. So he eventually goes, puts some money together, starts getting them a bunch of equipment that they would be able to practice with. He literally boards all of their doors and their windows to make them never be able to leave. Pretty much kept them in there for the whole 10 years. And then the only times he would allow them to leave is whenever he would get them like a gig. They performed for like kids that were their age. They bombed every time that they performed. And the dad continued to keep them for so long. And randomly, in the 80s, people started liking their music.
No way.
They have no idea yet, and it started to spread kind of in like the underground scene more than anything.
Wow.
So a bunch of people started listening to their music going like, yo, they're actually pretty dope. And their band was called the Shags. And you know who actually said they were one of his favorite bands?
Who?
Kurt Cobain.
Really?
Yeah.
This video is going viral right now from California because it's real and you can run it through every deepfake, fact check, scan it, AI scan. It's 100% genuine. A freaking orb flying around in this back alley road in California. Now, I will tell you a shocking story that happened to me. Me and my dear soul connection twin flame were laying there. It's the middle of the night. We should be asleep, but for some reason I wasn't quite asleep. Middle of the night. All we hear is zoom. It sounded like a freaking UFO outside. And lights flew from the window. Like, you could imagine me sleeping like in there. And I heard this strangest metallic sound that sounded like a freaking UFO. I know, how does a UFO have a sound? You know, but I'm just saying, it was a UFO experience without seeing it, but we heard it. And then I was like, did you hear that? In the middle of the night, you think no one would be awake. She goes, yeah, what the heck was that? It probably was this freaking thing. Some orb flying around. Here it is in slow motion. An orb buzzing around the street. Again, run this video through AI, scan it for AI. Now, I will say though, a lot of videos are going to come out in the coming years that will be real, of crazy creatures, situations, and they will call it AI. AI videos, the psyop of AI videos, is that they can claim a real video is AI, and to dissuade against it, to debunk it. This video is freaking real, man. Are we talking dimensional creature here? Talk to Hawaiians. If you want to ask about balls of light flying around, ask a Hawaiian person. They will tell you what's going on in Hawaii. They all know it. It's freaking passed down generation to generation, stories about this orb, not to mention night marchers, which we have to save for another video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
For all my people watching this in Hawaii, is that true? Like, do you guys see orbs at night?
Wait until you hear what this concerned citizen asks this NASA employee. She did not expect this, and wait until you hear her response. Watch till the end because this is shocking.
Do you ever think the public would find out that all the spacewalks were filmed underwater?
Thanks, sir.
Do you have any comment on that?
Well, we train underwater.
Oh, okay. But only training?
Only training.
Okay.
Most of the public have no idea that the ISS is located in an underwater neutral buoyancy lab in Houston, Texas. The space station footage that they trick us with is not traveling at 17,500 miles per hour above your head. It's all being filmed here on Earth. An exact ISS replica underwater. Coincidence? It's a pretty simple process. Film your footage underwater, remove the water layer, add in your CGI Earth layer, and cast your spell.
The fact there's also a massive studio, entertainment studio, filming studio on NASA property is absolutely shocking. Many people are asking questions, especially when you find out what the word NASA means in Hebrew. Bro, if this is true, this is one of the biggest frauds of the century. Not only because NASA gets something to the tune of $3 billion a year in funding for space exploration, but also, if they are faking all this space stuff, it makes us question if space even exists. If space doesn't, I mean, there's a lot of questions that this leads to. Why would they fake it if they could really go up there? What's the big idea? You got to do a deep dive on the space rabbit hole and the NASA rabbit hole because it is absolutely shocking. And remember, Buzz Aldrin wouldn't swear on a Bible that he went to the moon. The pictures before and after Apollo 11 of the, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed astronauts before and after they got back from allegedly the moon, they look like they just saw a freaking ghost. They were not stoked to be on camera being asked about the moon landing. And just so you know, whenever there's fact checks on a particular subject, that should make you especially want to research more into it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
This is my new series where I talk about celebrity ghost stories, and today we're talking about Mykelti Williamson, or Bubba from Forrest Gump. Mykelti said that this story happened to him in the early 1980s. He was living in LA at the time and he was trying to figure out how to make it as an actor. Anybody that knows him knows he would make it a point to stop by and see his mom a couple times a week. One day he decides he wants to stop by his mother's house, so he gives her a call first and she doesn't answer the phone. So he stops by because he's worried that something's wrong. So he goes there, she answers the door. He's like, "Mom, what's going on? Is everything okay?" And she's like, "Yes, everything is fine, but I need you to get in your car and I need you to go." So he listens to her, he gets in the car and he drives home. A few days later, he decides he wants to go see his mother again. So he pulls up to her house and she, like clockwork, is coming outside, meeting him there and saying, "Listen, you cannot be here. I need you to get in the car. I need you to drive home. If you see anybody that you know or any of your friends, do not stop. Just get in the car and I need you to go home." And so he's looking at her and he's like, "Is someone in the house?" And she's like, "No. I just need you to go." So he just kind of says, "Okay, I respect that." And he gets in the car and he drives home. A couple more days pass. Mykelti's phone rings and he answers and it's his mother. And she asks him to come to her house. He opens the door and he goes to walk inside and he said that it was just, the vibes were off. It was like the air was thick with bad energy. Like the tension was so bad you can cut it with a knife. Mykelti's mother sits him down on the couch and tells him, "Your friend Adrian is no longer with us. His cousin unalived him in the street last night." She told him that Adrian had kept coming by the house asking for Mykelti. Mykelti's mother and grandmother both have the ability to see spirits. But the one gift that they really have is that they can see what they call the spirit of death on somebody before they actually pass away. So his mother was telling him that when Adrian was coming by the house, he had the spirit of death written all over him. That's why she kept telling Mykelti to leave the house every time he was coming over, because she was really trying to prevent something bad from happening to her son. So Mykelti leaves, he goes back to his own apartment. He's kind of distraught, and he asks his girlfriend to come over. She comes over, they sit down to have dinner, and he said that as soon as they sat down, the phone started to ring. So his girlfriend gets up and goes and answers the phone. And Mykelti says that her face just completely drained of all of its color. And he's like, what's going on? What's the matter? And she tells him, you have a collect call from Adrian, where I talk about celebrity ghost stories, and today we're talking about Mykelti Williamson, or Bubba from Forrest Gump, to ring. So his girlfriend gets up and goes and answers the phone. And Mykelti says that her face just completely drained of all of its color. And he's like, what's going on? What's the matter? And she tells him, you have a collect call from Adrian. So Mykelti takes the phone from her, and he said that he hears Adrian's voice clear as day. This is heavy. He said he was screaming, Mike, you gotta help me. And he said he knew it was Adrian because there were only like 3 or 4 people in the world that called him Mike, and he was one of them. And he's like, Adrian, where are you? And Adrian said, they're trying to take me inside. I ran away. You have to help me now before they come back. And Mykelti said that he could hear all of these voices in the background screaming at him for being on the phone. And he could also hear a sound behind him that he can really only compare the sound to like being near an open fire pit or some sort of like roaring open flame. And then he could hear Adrian start to fight these people. He's yelling and he's saying things like, I don't want to go with you. I don't want to go in there. Mike, you have to help. And then the phone just went dead. And Mykelti is standing there, baffled, not sure how this phone call was possible in the first place, and just overall feeling terrible because there's nothing he could do. So Mykelti talks it over with his girlfriend, and she says, you know what? Why don't you call the operator and see if they have record of where that phone call came from? He calls the operator, and the operator doesn't see anything, but she does tell him that if it was a collect call, it will be reflected on your bill. He gets his phone bill in the mail a couple weeks later, looks at the bill, and there is nothing there. He truly believes that he got a call from his friend from the other side. So yeah, this is baffling. I don't know. I love ghost stories, but this is so weird and creepy and fascinating, and yeah, I hope you found it as amazing as I did. If you have any requests for another celebrity ghost story that you would like to hear, please let me know, and like and follow for part 3.
I need to listen to this. Creating their own storms in a state-of-the-art lab. It could end up saving lives.
Saving lives,
Mark, good morning.
for sure. That's what they want to do.
Good morning. This tank gives scientists and the rest of us a view no one has ever had before. What a hurricane's power looks like at water level as it storms ashore. In just 2 minutes, scientists here can take calm waters and turn them into a monster hurricane.
The wind is gradually getting stronger and stronger as it's coming up here, and it's ramping up to a Category 5. It's probably about a Category 3 right now.
This 75-foot-long tank is the first simulator in the world capable of creating a Category 5 hurricane over water. Brian House is the director of the University of Miami's new laboratory at the Rosenstiel School of Marine and Atmospheric Science.
What was it like when you cranked it up the first time, full blast?
It was stunning. I mean, it was it was chilled.
Nearly 40,000 gallons of seawater fill this tank. House uses a computer program and a single 1,700 horsepower fan to whip wind speeds up to 157 miles per hour.
This tank is the largest wind wave facility in the world. We can generate an extreme Category 5.
Now, I love how some people are going to see that and be like, yeah, science, they're trying to save us. Meanwhile, they have full-blown machines set up. This is in Alaska. This is called HAARP, High Active Auroral Research Program, run by the military, by the way. The military. And it's 360 antennas linked together, beams ELF waves in the ionosphere, and creates hurricanes, tsunamis, anything, literally anything, any weather events. Yeah, this right here. Look into it. Oh, and if you don't believe me, maybe you should look into the hundreds of patents that the United States holds for weather control, manipulating hurricanes. Like this one right here, method for controlling hurricanes. By flying many jet aircraft with afterburners to change direction or intensity, what they're saying is they're cloud seeding, to change direction or intensity. Did you guys see how the hurricane that hit Jamaica just completely changed direction and intensity? Wasn't supposed to hit it, completely changes direction,
and its intensity, and then smash Jamaica. Hurricane and tornado control device. This is the HAARP-related patent, broad patent discussing transmuting electromagnetic energy along magnetic field lines to alter regions of the atmosphere, commonly cited to discussions about HAARP and weather modification. Processes and apparatuses for moderating the intensity of a hurricane. Describes measures for moderating intensity in marine regions. Weather management using space-based power systems. Describes using solar microwave power to heat parts of a developing storm. Why don't you go look all this stuff up yourself? All these weather events, they're doing it.
Yeah, we actually touched on the Jamaica and hurricane situation in the last video, so I'm not going to go too much into it. Pretty much talked about how Jamaica just naturally gets hurricanes, but I feel like the hurricane machine thing that they were doing was like more of an indoor simulator. Like I don't know, you know what I'm saying, because there's a lot of conspiracy theories about how they can control the weather, so they might be able to control hurricanes, but I feel like the video we saw was more of like a controlled version of what he's talking about, like a controlled environment of a hurricane. But if they can control hurricanes and they're doing that with it by just destroying land just to make a new land, and hopefully it's not coming out of the people's pockets. Like, why would I need to pay for damage you did?
People are very concerned for Britney Spears after seeing what she's been posting to TikTok. So if you go on Britney's TikTok right now, you are going to see some very disturbing posts. Now, the actual posts that she's putting up are concerning, but the descriptions that she's putting on some of these posts are what make it seem like something is very, very wrong. In some of these descriptions, she does things like call herself Mother Teresa. And if you just go through and read through these different descriptions yourself, they definitely come off like they were written by someone who is not mentally fully there. I hope whatever's going on, she ends up getting help for it very, very soon.
I think we kind of have an idea of what might be happening, you know what I'm saying? She's just off of the drags, man. She just, you know what I'm saying?
Magician was doing the saw a person in half trick. He does it on video and he accidentally does the act, and his assistant was his wife.
Oh my god, I think I've heard about this before,
bro, this
somewhere.
is insane, dude. Yeah, the
in
video,
front of a crowd?
In front of a crowd, dude.
There's video of this?
There's footage of it when it happens. It's super dark. Pretty much this happened in 2012. It was in Russia, I believe. He's going through his act, doing the usual stuff, and there's a video camera that's recording his whole thing. And I don't know if this was his camera or this was from somebody in the audience who uploaded this footage. He's up there doing his thing. His wife comes through. She goes up. She gets inside of this box, and I'm thinking he's gonna bring out the classic saw. This dude brings out a chainsaw, Mike.
Yo.
Goes and cuts from her waist.
Yeah.
Cuts from the waist down. Pulls the body in half. Everything's cool. So then she didn't get in the right position after that. You could see in the footage, she's like trying to signal to them, and apparently she was screaming, saying like, wait, I'm not in the right position.
Yeah.
And her husband and his other assistant, this guy, didn't hear her because the music is too loud and the chainsaw's going hella crazy. So he goes to cut her head. And the other dude runs over, and they're both like, bro ended up slicing her throat almost to the point where he decapitated his wife.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Eddie killed his wife on film.
In front of a live crowd?
In front of a live crowd, yeah. And dude, I'm gonna show you the video.
Oh shit.
Is she already like...
She's panicking like crazy.
And dude, you see when her body goes limp.
That is insane, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, cause yeah, you definitely see blood.
You feel what I'm saying? You saw it, right?
Definitely see the blood, bro.
Yeah.
And the way her body goes limp was crazy.
That's what I'm saying. That looks too real, bro.
Yo, that's actually terrifying, I'm not gonna lie. Imagine seeing that live.
Do not save these polar bears.
Boiled alcohol.
I know I'm probably stating the obvious when I say this, but if you come across this in the ocean, please do not save the polar bears. This video shows a person on a boat traveling through open water, and they come across something quite surprising: a mother polar bear and her 2 cubs. And in this video, you'll notice that they are miles off of land, and while you might be concerned for them, there is no need for that. Most of the photos that we see of polar bears usually take place on the land, or at the very least on ice floes, but what people don't actually realize is that polar bears are considered marine mammals. This is because they spend a very significant portion of their life in the water, and because of that, they are fantastic swimmers, capable of swimming hundreds of miles, but regularly swimming 30 miles in one go, usually to look for ice floes and therefore find more food. So if you were to let these polar bears on board your vessel, you would probably be the equivalent of DoorDash being delivered straight to them. Just leave them be, nature will do its thing, and they'll probably find food at some point.
My thought is like, what if a shark or a killer whale just pops up and it's just like, hey guys, and just eats them.
Hey, me. Hey, me. Hey, me.
I'm about to show you a set of coincidences for you to ponder, but for my safety and your safety, please do not come to any conclusions. Deal? Cool. This is Tyler James Robinson, the alleged shooter of Charlie Kirk, who a lot of us now know by name. But according to Google Trends, somebody, maybe multiple, in the DC metro area was searching for Tyler James Robinson one day before the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Okay, you see this big spike over here. That's on September 12th. That's when we all found out through the news who he was and started Googling his name. But this small spike on September 9th, that's kind of weird, don't you think? Now, what about the Losey Center, the building where Tyler Robinson allegedly shot Charlie Kirk from? Well, again, for some reason, a small number of people in the Washington, D.C. area was Googling Losey Center 2 days prior to Charlie Kirk's assassination, September 8th, 2025. What is that all about? Once again, this is when we all heard about it, and some group of people over here 2 days prior was, just having fun Googling Losey Center. Now, what about a Mauser 98? You've heard of that? Well, evidently there was pretty much no interest in the Mauser 98 until August 27th, when somebody, once again, in DC was like, I am curious about the Mauser 98. Once again, to reiterate, these are all just coincidences. And since this information has gone viral, people are now reporting that all of that data has now been scrubbed. And so this is what it looks like now. Nothing to see here.
You wondering if prayer matters? Watch this.
So I was a channeler. I talked to the demons, and they relayed messages to the rest of the cult through me. And their goal was really just to cause chaos. But later on, I was 16 when, I'm just gonna say it, I met Satan himself, which really obviously is shocking. And his priority for us, it changed the trajectory of the cult, and we started attacking just Christians, going after clergy specifically. We had names, addresses, workplaces, and that's what we did. We just harassed Christians. I would actually travel in the spirit, astral projection, to influence, I don't know, lust or something on a Christian. And in the spirit, I would see like a dome, like a blue dome, over groups of Christians that were praying, or just through all those experiences, I connected that we could not attack Christians as they were actively praying protection from God. Like, there was a no-go zone. Just absolutely no power.
Did you see that? She said she could literally see which people were spiritually unprotected. But when somebody was covered in prayer, it was like there was an invisible force field surrounding them. That's an explicit description of Ephesians 6. Put on the full armor of God so that you can stand against the schemes of the devil. If you're a Christian, you best stay prayed up for protection over you and your loved ones, because there's a war going on and there's a lion on the prowl seeking to devour his prey.
Okay guys, breaking news. Multiple people have just been killed and injured after a massive explosion went off at a facility which makes explosives for the US military. Here's what we know. It was located in Tennessee. It's not there anymore, as you can see, and it built explosives for demolition, the army, and it also tested explosives there. Now, we don't currently know the cause, and I get it's an explosives facility, but obviously that wasn't meant to happen. And I mean, look at the cars, burnt to a crisp. We don't know a number of the fatalities yet, but I'll keep you guys updated as we know more.
You remember that bro that went to Mooley Point and found those unnatural cut blocks in the ground? those Nephilim blocks. Well, bro went back and found some more stuff. Look at this. Look at that. Y'all still think this is natural? Look at that angle. Look at that angle. You think that's natural? Come on, man. Look how sharp those angles are. You could slice your hand open with that. Look at that angle. 90 degrees. 90 degrees. This is not natural. This is a quarry. This is a Nephilim Titan quarry. Not a Nephilim giant, because there's Nephilim giants and Titans. Look at those blocks, man. Yeah, well, this is the new stuff he found. Look at these. These look like bricks. Or they could be dragon scales. Some people in the other video were saying this is dragon scales. This is a huge petrified, deceased animal. Now, this looks cut to me. This looks cut. I know people are going to say this is natural, but these look like bricks, laid bricks. Doesn't look natural to me. Look how big that is. This is like... Now, all this stuff up here, this brings suspicion. Because, okay, well, this might be natural. But I don't know. Like, it's half and half. Some of it looks like it was laid, cut and laid, and some of it looks like it's natural.
Okay, we need to talk about what's happening in Jamaica right now, because nobody is talking about the coincidence, the shocking coincidence, that Jamaica signed on to do and now is experiencing this Category 5 hurricane that's wiped out the frickin' island. My thoughts and prayers go out to all those affected, and now let's get into it. So did you know that Jamaica signed on to something called Vision 2030, where they want to change a lot of how Jamaica was, and they have all these fancy buzzwords, but what it really is surveillance, smart grid, smart technology, smart city. Kind of like what happened in Hawaii. As you can see on the website, you see the Sustainable Development Goals. That's Agenda 21. Now, Agenda 21, as we know, is the shocking agenda to do a lot of things to all the countries in the world, which seem good on the surface: equality, diversity, inclusion, when it really comes down to surveillance, control, and basically a prison without bars, controlled by AI. Jamaica has a comprehensive plan for smart city development, including a new city project. Well, how are you going to build a new city where there already is one? Oh, what happened to Maui? What happened to other places that had a smart city planned? What happened, the other thing I was thinking too is, what happened to the hurricane that blew into South Carolina, where they found a massive lithium deposit and then a hurricane wiped out the whole area and they're telling people they can't build there anymore? Vision 2030 Jamaica, absolutely shocking. The plan to test and implement smart technologies. Improve your quality of life. Yeah, talk to a robot every frickin' day. Real lifestyle quality there, dude. And then also, drive economic growth. Do you mean economic units, where they judge you based on carbon credits and there's no longer currency? Is this the whole plan? Let me know if you think this is just a shocking coincidence. But actually, I guess I didn't really say, how would a hurricane have anything to do with this plan? Unless, of course, you could do anything to modify the weather. But surely weather modification is totally fake and impossible, right? And it would never be used nefariously against innocent people. We'll talk more about that in the next one. Comment your thoughts below and follow for more.
Dude, if I'm being honest, Jamaica naturally just gets hurricanes. I don't know why he's acting like, oh, this is the first hurricane Jamaica ever got because they signed up for this plan. When I lived in Jamaica, I think I experienced 5 different hurricanes, bro. I remember Sandy was the last one that I really experienced. That was Category 4. And honestly, it wasn't that bad. I feel like with this one, though, it just eliminated the west side of Jamaica compared to all of Jamaica. They're just trying to say oh, the whole island got eliminated, when in reality it was only the west side that really got damaged like that. But I think Jamaica will be good, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was there back in August and it looked like they actually came a pretty long way. It looked, you know what I'm saying, a little bit more advanced. I wouldn't say Jamaica is a third world country anymore. If anything, I'd say it's a second world country. I think they call those a developing country.
I've been getting a lot of questions about my dog Cracker. He's half Cocker Spaniel and Australian Shepherd. I rescued him. He's from...
My name is Montague William III. And what I will tell you may well sound absurd, but the less who believe it, the better for me. For you see, I'm in banking. and big industry. For many a year we have controlled your lives, while you all just struggle and suffer in strife. We created the things that you don't really need, your sports cars and fashion, plasma TVs. I remember it clearly how all this begun. Family secrets from father to son, inherited knowledge that gives me the edge, while you people lie sleeping at night in your beds. We control the money that controls your lives, whilst you worship false idols and wouldn't think twice about selling your souls for a place in the sun. These things that won't matter when your time is done. But as long as they're there to control the masses, I just sit back and consider my assets, safe in the knowledge that I have it all, while you common people are losing your jobs. You see, I just hold you in utter contempt. But the smile on my face, well, it makes me exempt. For I have the weapon of global TV, which gives us connection and invites empathy. You would really believe that we look out for you, while we bankers and brokers are only a few. But if you saw that, you'd take back the power. Hence, daily terrors to make you all cower. The panics, the crashes, the wars, and the illness that keep you from finding your spiritual wholeness. We rig the game, and we buy out both sides.
I'm not gonna lie, I was not messing with him rhyming those words. Like just tell us what's up, bro. You don't gotta make it sound like a jingle bell.
This is Universe 25, a horrifying mouse utopia experiment that shocked scientists by its disastrous outcome. It's one of the most interesting experiments I've ever read. And here's what we can learn from it. In 1968, American scientist John Callan created an environment for mice that had everything. Unlimited food, clean water, the perfect climate, and hundreds of nests. In theory, this utopia could support nearly 4,000 mice. To start, Callan just placed 8 mice. And just like Noah's Ark, 4 males and 4 females would go on to populate this utopia. At first, everything looked perfect. The mice bred rapidly, their numbers doubling every 2 months. By day 315, the population reached 600 mice. Eventually, it peaked at 2,200 mice, still far below the maximum capacity. But then, the nightmare began. Despite endless resources, the population began to collapse. Callan noticed disturbing behavior. Some males became withdrawn, spending their days grooming themselves obsessively and refusing to fight or mate. He called them the influencers. Just kidding, the actual term he used was the beautiful ones. There were also dominant males that guarded their own harem and prevented the weaker ones from accessing it. These weaker mice would hang out with the females, but not to mate with them. Interestingly enough, these weaker mice would instead attempt to mate with the dominant males. What? That's so interesting, right? But then, the females also started to abandon and even kill their young. Violence and hypersexuality spread, with mice attacking each other at random. Eventually, reproduction ceased entirely, and by the experiment's 5th year, every last mouse was dead. But the chilling part is, the environment never failed them. There was always ample food, water, and shelter. What failed was society itself. Callan coined the term behavioral sink to describe this collapse. A downward spiral caused not by scarcity, but by the loss of meaningful roles within a community. But why does this matter? Perhaps Universe 25 wasn't just about mice, but a mirror held up to humanity. Perhaps material abundance alone isn't enough for a thriving society. Humans and other animals need social purpose, community, and skills for social interaction to prevent the collapse of civilization. And perhaps we too are living in our own Universe 25. However, at the end of the day, they are still just mice, and humans are far more complex with our culture, technology, and self-awareness, giving us resilience. But the experiment does remain as a haunting reminder that without struggle, connection, and meaning, even paradise can become a prison.
I'm going to show you guys in this video how a reptilian race of beings is controlling our government and everything that they do. You need to pay attention to this and watch to the end. This is how they tell you the truth in plain sight. What you're about to see next is a Super Bowl commercial a few years ago. Pay attention.
Hello, Earth. I'm Alec Baldwin, TV star. You know, they say TV will rot your brain. That's absurd. TV only softens the brain like a ripe banana to take it all the way. We've created Hulu. Hulu beams TV directly to your portable computing devices, giving you more of the cerebral
Let me ask you guys, what kind of message is this sending to you? Think that they just do this for the hell of it? Because we're aliens and that's how we roll. An evil plot to destroy the world. You ever notice if you fold up the dollar bill in a certain way, this is what it makes? You think that's just a coincidence, guys? You think all this is a coincidence? I want you to watch this carefully. See, as a part of their religion, their satanic order, as they're trying to control the world, they need to disclose the truth in plain sight. They need to tell you literally who they are and what they are doing. This is why there's so much predictive programming. This is why everyone's like, oh, The Simpsons predicts everything. It's not a prediction. It's just an agenda. They're just telling you what they're going to do in plain sight. This is a perfect example of this as well. The truth about reptilians. They walk among us. This is on Amazon. And again, they're just telling you who they are and what they do. This is so obvious at this point, guys. This is why the world is in so much chaos, because it's quite literally a shape-shifting reptilian race that controls all of our governments, all of our media, and everything in between. And the truth will truly set you free.
Have you ever wondered why nothing attacks a capybara? They seem to be friends with nearly every living being on the planet, but why? First off, capybaras are naturally calm and very social creatures. They don't care if you go near it or bother them. They're also herbivores, so there's no need to attack other animals and are basically friends with everything. Known to hang out around caimans without getting attacked and also riding on top of them, where even extremely vicious animals like jaguars and pumas are seen chilling with them as well. But still, why don't these deadly animals attack it? Well, in reality, you've been lied to. Because most of these clips you've seen of them chilling around these predators is simply because they're already full, or just too lazy to hunt them at that moment, meaning capybaras aren't always seen as friends.
There's one striking similarity between these two incidents that happened almost a year apart. Can you guess what that striking similarity is? You guessed it, they were both false flag operations. Have you noticed when CK touches his nose, he's pretty much saying, "I'm good to go, boys." And then he pops the squib and fakes his DEATH and traumatizes the entire world. And then of course, good old Mr. Trump decides to give his condolences to good old CK using an AI-powered video. That's right, it's not even a real video of him. It's AI. Do you see what they're doing? They are trying so hard to push a false reality on you to see how far they can bring you into their world of delusion so that they can control this perception of reality, therefore control you and control every single facet of your life. This is exactly why they lied about the shape of the Earth. Every single thing that you have been taught is basically CGI. The dinosaurs, the galaxies, the shape of the Earth, and now even political figures are being enhanced with AI. Can you believe it? But anyways, that's what a false flag operation is. And that's what a paid crisis actor is, okay? They are intentionally traumatizing you so that they can split your personalities and then control the new personality that they have formed from traumatizing you. 666, I wonder what that means. Oh, they couldn't be Freemasons. Entertainment purposes only, I made all of it up. Please don't ban me.
I said in a previous video, there's so many conspiracy theories about Charlie Kirk. You would genuinely go crazy just hopping down that rabbit hole.
Have you heard of this movie Roar from the 80s? I just watched it. It is outrageous. They use untrained lions. Everyone gets hurt. Please listen to how dangerous this was. This famous director-actress married duo was like, you know, why don't we make a movie where people live amongst dangerous wild animals, literally. So they started collecting lions in their home. They just acquired them from zoos and circuses and had them just hanging around the house. They eventually collected 71 tigers, 26 lions, 9 black panthers, 10 cougars, 2 jaguars, leopards, elephants, swans, geese, and they like owned all of these animals illegally. The production was a mess. They would just film these animals continuously waiting for them to do something interesting. So the script would change based on what the animals did, and the animals were credited as writers. Like, this is lead actor / head writer Robbie. I watched the movie and it has no plot. The whole thing is just these animals attacking these actors who aren't acting. They're genuinely scared for their lives. And they would have the actors run and scream in fear so that the lions would chase them. And there were 100 injuries in 2 years. 100. Now, this is all the shit that happened to the director. Like, he was bitten 11 times and almost lost his arm and got gangrene. And Tippy, his wife, was bitten in the head by a lion. She was bitten by this lion named Cherries. She also got gangrene and was attacked by a leopard and a cougar. And she broke her ankle after this elephant just picked her up by its trunk and threw her to the ground. And for another scene, they put honey on Tippy's face so this animal could lick it off, knowing it could kill her. And the cinematographer was scalped, fully scalped by a lion, by none other than Cherries, our girl. He needed 220 stitches to sew his scalp back on, and then went back on set to finish the movie. Then, get this, a pipe burst and flooded the property. 15 lions and tigers escaped, and law enforcement had to kill 3 of them, which included Robbie, the main actor / writer. They had to kill Robbie. So they just replaced him with another lion. It took them 8 months to rebuild the set after the flood, and then 12 wildfires broke out. It took them 11 years to make this movie. 11 years of pure hell. The cost to feed all the animals in the crew was $4,000 a week. So the couple sold all 4 of their houses to afford it and then went bankrupt. All in all, the movie cost $17 million to make, and this is what it made at the box office. $2 million. After all that. Oh, and it's a comedy, by the way. Like, this is a comedy. And the proceeds from the movie were supposed to fund all the animals' retirement. But since it only made $2 million, that just didn't happen. We don't know what happened to Cherries. Then these two got divorced the very next year. They were like, absolutely not. We are a terrible pair.
I wonder if they took out the teeth and the claws of the lion, because, like, if I'm being honest, they said people were injured but not dead. Because I'm like, dude, if a lion truly attacked you, you would have died.
Yeah, I'm going to die! I'm going to die! You've heard of the electric eel, right? What if I were to tell you that those are electric hornets? Allow me to explain. Meet the Oriental hornet. These flying pain inducers are found everywhere, including Africa, Asia, Europe, South America, and they're known for having one of the most painful stings in the insect kingdom. It's been described as feeling like lava coursing through your veins for days, just so you know. The pain could last for days. I do not like hornets. But what really separates this hornet from the rest are those yellow bands around their body. Those bands absorb sunlight and convert the sunlight into electricity, like a built-in solar panel. But what's even crazier is scientists have no idea what the electricity is used for. However, the belief is that it quite literally supercharges the hornet. Like, they become faster, stronger, sharper senses, faster reflexes. I do not like it. Moral of the story? Solar-powered hornets are real. Not a sentence I'd ever thought I'd say. And as always, follow for more facts.
Government, or the cabal, or whatever you want to call them, are now allowing actual footage of mythical creatures to be shown to people because we live in an age where everyone thinks that all the videos are AI generated. But I've been around the technology for a long time now, and I am able to spot with 100% certainty whether or not a video is AI or not. And this is a real video that we are seeing right here. And this isn't the first time where we've seen one of these mythical creatures from legends from thousands of years ago show up in modern day. Just last year we had a cat with wings randomly show up. And what happens with these things is they spawn into existence because there are different timelines going on. And perhaps CERN or other people underground in the underground tunnels are doing experiments with the timelines, and they are causing the veil to be lifted and for these creatures to be spawning in. And there's also another factor with this, and that is the age of Aquarius. We've been in the age of Pisces for thousands of years. I could go on and on about talking about this, but we're going into a new age currently. And I can talk about this all day. But I know that people are just going to say, oh, the video's AI, and then move on and scroll and not even think about anything. But I know there are a lot of other people who are interested and are thinking about why reality is the way it is, and they're theorizing all this stuff. So if you want to know more, just stay and listen. So this is the map of Earth, and I'm not going to explain it, but because I've already done it before. But we are going into a new timeline, basically, the age of Aquarius. And that means that there are new creatures that are coming in. It's not mostly from beyond the ice wall and on these other lands, which we already know exist. These are literally just spawning in out of thin air because they've been trapped in a different reality for so long, and now they're able to come into this one because all the timelines are converging into one. And we see this with the movies because the movies tell us the truth in plain sight. So that's what's going on. There is literally a griffin out there, and people have video footage of it, and no one believes that it's real.
But the more I look into this devastating hurricane that's happening in Jamaica right now, the more I start to raise some questions. Did you know that Jamaica is on the 2030 Smart City agenda? Who else is on that agenda? LA, before their forest fire, directed energy weapons. Sorry. Maui was also on that list before their forest fires that demolish everything in sight and don't burn the trees somehow. Then we have this natural disaster in Jamaica, because you can't really build smart cities on top of current foundation now, could you? This is the biggest hurricane that's ever hit Jamaica, by the way. This place is very close to my heart. You think that this is just natural, God's plan? Then your head's in the sand and has been for a long time. It's also super interesting, the Maui wildfires that happened. This red line here is where all the devastation was, and it's the exact same transit that their proposed railway was for their smart city. What a shocking coincidence. Now look, guys, this is engineered 100%. Don't care what you think, it is. The thing that they don't want us to know is that we as a collective can cancel all of this shit out. We can abolish the parasites that are doing these things. They fear the day that we come together and we start working in unity. We start manifesting as a collective. If everyone in the world would sit together right now in silence and start putting our good thoughts into creating a new world for ourselves, then it would absolutely happen. The parasites cannot manifest. That's why they put all these ideas into the collective consciousness, because we hold the matrix up like glue. Now I'm praying for Jamaica. I'm sending my good energy and all of my beautiful thoughts that way. And everyone watching this should too. If you don't know what HARP is, look up HARP. If you don't know what geoengineering is, look up geoengineering. These are man-made events, all with a plan to further their agenda. Now let's keep our thoughts and prayers with Jamaica, and let's manifest a better future. Peace and love.
Some conspiracy theories are true. For example, let's say you had a friend call you up and say, I was eating at a restaurant and I found a microchip in my food. I know because I told them to leave off the pepper, but I saw a single speck of pepper, but when I looked at it closely, it was perfectly square, and when I took it home and looked at it under a magnifying glass, it was a microchip. Before you have them institutionalized, know that sometimes cheese has microchips in it. Specifically, authentic Parmesan cheese from Italy has chips embedded in the cheese wheels because they have a huge issue with counterfeiting. These chips let them scan the wheels for authenticity and also track where they go. These microchips are edible by design, and you may have eaten one in your life. Likewise, let's say that same friend says their printer is encoding secret messages in documents, that they keep finding these microscopic specks that they thought were just flaws in the print head or something. But once again, when they looked at them under their magnifying glass, they found a pattern, and they're certain that the pattern has meaning. What your friend has discovered are printer tracking dots. Many printers, we don't know which ones, use tiny, basically invisible dots. These identify the serial number of that printer and also the date and time when the document was printed. Printer manufacturers actually did this for 20 years in secret before the public found out in 2004. But for example, if documents were leaked from a government agency, these dots help them identify which printer they came from. Likewise, if you're using your printer for some sort of illegal counterfeiting activity, they can scan those nearly invisible dots and immediately know which machine did it and when. This is actually the frustrating thing about the fake conspiracy theories. Sometimes the reality is just as weird.
I seen this video there. Well, I seen this thing on the news the other day.
Yeah.
This happened in Houston, Texas. There was this old man named Steven Anderson. He's just walking on the street to go get his mail. I think someone caught it like on their their camera from their garage or whatever.
Yeah.
He's walking to the mailbox to get his mail. When out of nowhere, this car comes full speed and runs him over.
Really?
Yes. And then they back up again and hit him again. And the car drives off. The neighbors come out, they're freaking out. They're calling 911. Neighbors are starting to bring out pillows and stuff like that so this guy could lay on it because he's on the floor and stuff.
Yeah.
While all this is happening, the driver comes back and it's this girl named Karen Fisher. The girl is actually born a man. She comes out of her car and you're not gonna believe what she does next. She gets on top of this dude Steven and starts to kiss him, and then she stabs him a bunch of times and kills him.
You're lying.
I swear.
Are you serious?
I swear, dude. I swear. This happened in Houston. She runs him over twice, comes back, gets on top of Brad, kisses him, dinner makes out with him, and then stabs him 7 times.
Bro. Wait, so this is a person that transitioned from a man to a woman?
Yes.
Okay, dude. Oh my God. This is so confusing.
In front of everybody that was outside, checking up on him.
Okay, so why? Do they have any relationship? Did they know each other?
I think it was just random, bro.
Dog, I have a lot to say, but I'm going to go to heaven. So I need to be quiet, dude. This is crazy.
It's crazy.
First off, dude, some guy that transitioned, you kissed me in the mouth, dog. Man or woman. Either way, do not kiss my corpse.
Bro! Yo, there's no way that just happened. That's actually insane, dude.
Y'all see the third eye, bro? Besides that, though, y'all know Wiz Khalifa, right? Listen what he had to say, yo.
Is the Earth round?
I would say no.
What shape is it?
I just believe that we live on a flat plane. Yeah, like a huge flat plane.
He knows too.
It's only because I travel so much and I see Did you ever get to the edge of the Earth? Nah. Okay. It's not that. There's more. I think that there's more masses than just what we see. Just the Earth. Because we lived. It was one thing before, and it's spread out.
So it's layered like a pastry.
I wouldn't say layered like a pastry. I would just say if this rug was the world, we would probably be over there somewhere, and then there's just way more other shit that we haven't discovered.
Got it.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
How many celebrities had came out and said that the world was flat, yo? Most of them. By this time, we should have all seen a terror map. I show y'all this all the time, man. They be knowing, yo. Wait up!
I think we need to start a petition to stop looking at celebrities like these super intellectual gods. You know what I'm saying? Just because Wiz Khalifa said, "Hey guys, I think the earth is flat," doesn't mean the earth is flat. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We will really never know what the earth truly is because we won't go out of, at least I think some of us on this video won't go out of our atmosphere. Unless you become an astronaut. If you do, that's crazy because that's actually one of the rarest positions on earth. That means you would never really know, and you either got to believe what they're telling us is true, or we got to just make our own conclusions. And whatever you choose to do, whether that's believe or not believe, I'm saying that's your choice.
There's 2 types of secret societies. One is the group like Masons, Bilderberg, Bohemian Grove, Council on Foreign Relations, Skull and Bones. They're not secret. People know they exist. They know who the members are. But what goes on is secret. That's the first group. Then there's the second group of secret societies, which are really secret, that no one's ever heard about, like the Brotherhood. The real secret societies nobody knows exist.
See this dude right here? He's weird as f. You see, he was into a alternative type of lifestyle, and he did things that most men would never be into. Prince had a work ethic like no other. No cap, his output was insane. He did a fully recorded, fully finished song every day for 5 years straight. Homeboy could finish an entire album in a week. It was borderline psychotic. He would rehearse during the day, go do a 2.5-hour show, and then record until sunrise. This dude was the textbook definition of greatness. You see, where a lot of people get confused is that they think that greatness is about being perfect, but greatness is really about reps. Prince released over 1,000 songs during his illustrious career. Only 5 of them went #1 on Billboard. And he only released 10 to 15% of the songs that he recorded. I think the lesson that we could all learn from Prince is to just take action. Finish what you started, even if it's not perfect. And that's what greatness is really about.
behind that beard than Diddy wears.
All right, that's enough.
I know.
That's enough.
And I seen him. He shows me behind the curtain.
That's enough. All right, I'm gonna edit this out.
But still, put a note on it. You can edit that one. I don't.
There's so many footages of Kevin Hart at a Diddy party. It's actually a little bit hilarious.
Did you see those 5th grade girls that planned on another classmate?
I heard about this. It was a boy.
Yes, bro.
I heard about this, bro.
This blew my mind, bro. When I heard the full story, it's so crazy. So this actually happened in Arizona, and these 5th grade girls were all talking, and I guess they were all like angry at one of these boys that were also a 5th grader in the class because he supposedly cheated on one of their friends that was in that group of 5th graders. These girls got together and started talking, and these were their words. They were going to get this kid that cheated, take him to a bathroom, one of the bathrooms at the school.
At the school?
At the school. This was their plan. And during recess, and they were all gonna wear gloves and to death in the bathroom and make it look like he committed. We're also going to write a suicide note to make it look like he just did this to himself in the the bathroom at school, which is freaking insane. That was their whole plan. And the way that it got discovered is this other 5th grade girl, she overheard the conversation while they were like at lunch or something, goes home and tells her parents what happened. She was just like, I heard these girls at school talking about they're gonna try to kill somebody at school. Called 911, told them the whole situation. Police end up going to the school and they literally arrest these girls on campus. They take them in the police car, they handcuff them, all that type of stuff. They release them to their parents, and all of the girls, I think it was about 4 or 5 of them, they all got expelled from that school. The scariest part about one of these little girls though, and I'm pretty sure she's the one,
the ringleader.
I think she's the ringleader, bro. She's the one who operated, the whole thing. They said she was laughing.
Yeah.
And she was just like, she didn't care.
That's how I heard that like all the other girls were like crying and like scared that they got caught up, but she was the only one that didn't care.
Yeah, she was just stone-faced and laughing about it, and she was taking it like a joke.
Dude.
Yo, keep that girl in jail, cause what? She's just in 5th grade and she's already doing that? Nah, bro.
Bro, are rats evolving? What you are looking at is the first footage ever captured of a rat actively hunting bats. Yet again, we are witnessing history because according to one of the authors of the recently published study, to our knowledge, this type of rat behavior has not previously been documented scientifically. But what especially stuns scientists is how these rats in Germany are actually hunting. Not only are these rats going to where these bats are hibernating, but they're also snatching them out of the air. But as cool as this might appear, scientists believe that this is actually kind of worrying. They warned that this raises concern about potential pathogen exchange between 2 major wildlife reservoirs, leading to a possible spreading of disease. Don't tell me Germany finna be the new Wuhan. And not only that, but local bat population is potentially under threat, with them being slowly picked off. They documented 13 confirmed kills and 30 predation attempts over a 5-week period at just one site. The Ratatouille sequel, about to be dark as hell.
Chicago, Illinois. Leroy Battle is the guy who opened fire on 3 teens for asking him, "How tall are you?" Leroy Battle had limped to the gas station with 1 shoe on. He encountered 3 teens that came to the gas station to buy candy. The teens asked 6'3" Leroy how tall he was. One of the teens also said they wished they were his height. When the teens left the gas station, they walked through a nearby alley to head back home. Leroy followed them into an alley and opened fire on them. Unfortunately, 2 of the teens did not survive the attack. The 3rd teen managed to escape unharmed. Leroy never met or had any altercation with the teens. The attack was unprovoked. Leroy was arrested 4 days later. He was then charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. He was found guilty and is currently waiting to be sentenced. What do you think the appropriate sentence for Leroy would be? Follow for updates and more cases like this.
Without any context, this is definitely concerning. Fortunately, this did not actually happen. The video that you guys just watched shows a woman sitting on the edge of a curved cliff. She then starts to move closer to the edge, and then it appears as though she loses her footing and starts sliding, and the video cuts off. We're left thinking that she just fell thousands of feet. So first off, what this lady was sitting on is a very famous tourist destination in Brazil known as Pedra de Gavia. It overlooks Rio de Janeiro, and as you guys can see, it is thousands of feet up in the air. To be exact, roughly 3,000 feet. And every single year, tourists flock to this destination to get these jaw-dropping photos. Somehow, though, there are no mainstream instances of people rolling off the edge here. So, with 99.9% certainty, I could say this is an AI video that was created using this original photo, and there's no video for this one. You guys can see, these are the exact same photo. Her feet are stacked on top of each other, and the exact same thing can be seen here as well.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, in the future, we are so cooked. Like, I don't know what it is, but AI video is getting so much harder to distinguish nowadays. Like, you could see a video and be like, yo, that might not be AI, and it'd be completely AI.
So I gotta ask, if you don't believe in space, what do you think about Elon Musk and his company SpaceX? SpaceX? More like... But seriously, guys, do you really think this guy is for free speech running around the Met Gala and this jacket? What does that say? Novus Ordo Seclorum. And where have we seen that? And what does that mean? New World Order or New World Age? But if you think that was just a coincidence, I got way more stuff to show you that, well, this guy is not the most honest guy. Like, does anyone else remember that time we caught a rat running around on the outside of his rocket?
That's going to continue to burn until 8 minutes and 44 seconds into flight. So a little over 2 minutes from now, we'll hear the call out Seco. It'll then be a little...
Did you guys catch it? Here, watch it again, but slowed down and zoomed in. Or remember that time he said he sent his electric car out to orbit Earth? But there was a little glitch. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. You remember those words, Elon? But was he trying to tell us something here? Now, I'm not saying Elon. SpaceX is putting on a complete show. They do have some real rockets. And of course, all this was for entertainment purposes only. This is strictly my opinion. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Don't forget to like, follow me, and share this. And like always, God bless.
Colonizing Mars. That's not happening, people. It's a marketing scheme. Do you know how long it would take to colonize Mars? Do you know how long it would take to terraform that thing? It's a marketing scheme that everyone somehow fell for. This is my native language, I promise. That everyone somehow fell for, despite being like debunked by a Google search.
Nobody wanted to use this toilet.
Hours. I spent hours trying to figure out what this is, and while I don't have a guaranteed answer, I have a pretty darn good idea, so let me know if you guys agree. This is an extremely viral video that was posted back in 2022, so I'm not too sure why I'm just now getting tagged in it, but no matter. It shows this old bathroom, clearly abandoned, and up against the wall and inside the toilet, there's this very weird growth, and this almost looks like an animal. First thing that came to mind is this might be some sort of mold or fungus like Stemonitis splendens, but this really doesn't look the same, and then it dawned on me. This is more than likely just the root system from a tree or other plant outside. It's actually really common for tree roots to make their way inside of sewer pipes through joints, or if things were just installed in a faulty manner. Most of the time, these roots that make their way inside of the pipes are a lot smaller, they're not as thick as one might think, and in some cases, it can look like hair. So I'm quite confident with this answer. Let me know what you think.
I'm not gonna lie, family, I don't know if it's just me, but just looking at that made my whole skin crawl.
There was a very strange Halloween costume that appeared during Trump's Halloween party. It's a McDonald's sign saying billions and billions served, with a child in a stroller, and the sign says order here right above it. That's really strange, don't you think? But yeah, Daddy Trump decided to throw an extravagant Halloween party instead of just reopening the government and paying the government officials that haven't been paid for over a month. He decided to throw a Halloween party with some strange symbolism sprinkled in there. The M in the McDonald's logo is from a black magic book. It's a sigil. And Ronald McDonald himself looks like an absolute weirdo. Look at all that red stuff around his face. Oh, but he's just a clown. Well, have you seen Castaway? Have you seen the hoodie that Ellen DeGeneres was wearing? That Jay-Z was wearing? That thing right there, that weird face. Do you know what that means? Yeah. So they found remains of human teeth in McDonald's food before. But let's just continue to eat that garbage. Entertainment only, they definitely do not put human meat in McDonald's.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I would personally take that with a grain of salt, because I truly feel like if they found human teeth inside McDonald's burgers, that would be viral. That would be all over the news, and that would be a subject that everyone would not stop talking about.
2020, a girl broke up with her boyfriend, but something interesting happened. The next day, the now single man went on a skiing trip and he fell on his head and suffered a concussion. The concussion had made him completely forget that his girlfriend had broken up with him the day before. So he continued to text her as if they were still dating. And rightfully so, the girl became extremely confused. But finally, after a month of him texting her, the girl changed her mind and decided she wanted to get back together with him. So she asked him if he wanted to get back together, only to find out that he never knew that they broke up in the first place. They're now happily married with 2 kids. For those of you guys that just got broken up with, you should try this and see.
So if I tried that, I'd get blocked immediately.
They just found 383 bodies in a so-called funeral home, y'all. Somebody tell me how nearly 400 bodies was discovered in one building and nobody noticed for years. They wasn't cremating them, y'all. They was letting the bodies sit, developing a smell. Do you know how strong that smell had to been? And nobody knew? Yeah, alright. This was at a crematorium right near the US and Mexico border, y'all. And get this, y'all, they said some of the bodies that's there was only there for a month. Y'all, and the crazy part is, family members were getting handed ashes in an urn, thinking it was their family members, and it wasn't the whole time. They was thinking their family members was getting cremated, and the whole time, they were doing some weird shit probably. The Mexican authorities said some of these bodies date back from like 3 to 4 years ago. So they said as of right now, they arrested the owner and some of the employees that work there. I don't know, but it feel like something dark going on behind this shit. They said this was in a cartel heavy zone in an area called Juarez, right across from El Paso, Texas, y'all. They said in that area, a lot of trafficking or disappearances take place. So if they found all these bodies in this one place, how many other places are doing the same thing? And how many family members were being lied to, saying they were giving their family ashes when the whole time their bodies was still in the same place? I need y'all thoughts on this as always. This shit crazy, fool.
This clip is actually terrifying, the speed and swiftness of this, but fortunately this guy was caught and apprehended. The video that you guys just watched was recorded in China. It shows this woman and her daughter opening up this apartment, about to go inside, when out of nowhere this man wearing a red rain jacket pulls the mother inside, then quickly comes back outside, grabs the daughter, and the door slams shut behind them. For context, this happened back in 2022 in eastern China, Liang, Shandong province, involving a man by the name of Zhan, and he was the ex-husband of this woman, and this was his daughter. Apparently, this happened as a result of some sort of dispute, which led to him dragging them into the apartment. He stayed there for quite some time. While the daughter was asleep, he did some non-consensual things with his ex-wife. After doing this, he fled the apartment. She called the police, and they did apprehend him. Not too sure what happened to him after this, but I would imagine he hopefully got punished. Again, this footage is genuinely horrifying, especially the speed at which this takes place. Awful.
These guys are dead. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah guys, the guys in this video are already dead, they just don't know it yet. And if you guys couldn't already guess it from the video, these guys are at Chernobyl. And if you're wondering why the video is kind of fuzzy and grainy, that's not because the video is old, you're actually seeing the effects of radiation to a camera lens. And yes, the area that these guys are walking through is full of radiation. And if you guys are unfamiliar with Chernobyl, it was a nuclear power plant that ended up exploding, leading to one of the worst disasters in human history. And just for context, this explosion happened in 1986, and the place is still full of radiation today. And what these guys are filming at the end of the video you just watched is actually what they refer to as the elephant foot. And this elephant's foot is hardened nuclear material, and it is known for being extremely radioactive. And getting this close to it like these guys did will most definitely lead to you becoming unalived.
This is the reason why nowadays when you order like an Uber or a Lyft driver, the driver would tell you like what's your name before you get into the car because of what happened to this girl. This happened in 2019. This girl, Samantha Josephson, was hanging out with a bunch of her friends and they were pretty much partying out in like North Carolina, and they were just turning up. She was like 19 years old at the time. She's at this bar with her friends and she ends up deciding that she wants to go home for the night, like around like 2 o'clock in the morning. She goes outside, she calls an Uber to come pick her up. While she's waiting outside, a black truck pulls up and is driven by this dude named Nathaniel Rowland. This girl unknowingly gets into the vehicle of the person who's going to murder her because she thinks it's her Uber.
So it was a mistake? She got in the wrong car?
She got into the wrong car. She just got into this dude's car. He turns on the child lock, so she's trapped inside of his car with him. He ends up driving her out like somewhere hella far. He stabs her like 120 times in the backseat of his car.
He does it in the car?
In his own car, yes. Does a whole bunch of other stuff to her. And then just like drops her body off like in some field out there in North Carolina or whatever. After that, her friends are pretty much like,
what happened?
She never hit us up that she went home or whatever, that they were just worried about her, so they end up saying that she's missing. They end up searching for her. The police end up finding her dead body a day later, and they pretty much look on the cameras of like who picked her up. When they find him, they look into his car, and his car is just covered in blood.
Dude, so what was his motive? Like, was he just crazy and he just wanted to kill somebody?
Yeah, it was just by like, she was literally just wrong place, wrong time type of thing, where she just happened to get into a crazy person's car, bro, thinking that it was her Uber.
Why do turtles stack on top of each other?
Okay, so I came across this post on Twitter, and the person posted it saying, "Why do turtles do this?" with a laughing face. And it is a pretty crazy picture because as you can see, there's two turtles perfectly on top of each other. The bottom turtle is sitting on a rock, and somehow this top turtle managed to get perfectly on top of it and balance. And as you can tell, he has all of his legs spread out, and there's actually a reason for this. When I first came across this post, I was a little bit confused myself, so I decided to do my own research. And if you're ever around a pond or a lake, you've probably noticed turtles sunbathing. This is called basking, which is lying somewhere where you're exposed to the sun and the sun's warmth. And turtles will do this together to maximize heat, and they will actually climb on top of each other like this to try to get closer to the heat source. And they will stretch out all four of their legs to maximize heat exposure. But I wish someone would have got this on video because I still have no idea how the turtle actually gets on top of the other one.
Man, E5 don't make no mistake, bro.
What's E5? Because I heard of it.
A lot of people practice it like Santeria or somebody.
Beyonce.
Some people do. Beyonce practice E5. She a child of Ocean. She a child of Ocean. She got songs. She got songs like talking about her ancestor. Every time she dressed up like her ancestor. When she was pregnant, she dressed up as Oshun.
Oh wow. So have you ever spoken with the dead?
Yeah, I feed them.
What do you mean?
I feed them all the time. I take care of them for them to take care of me every day.
This is a religion that originated in Africa?
Yeah. It's the religion that they say all African Americans are supposed to practice.
Now that's a rapper, Stunna for Vegas, an artist that the Baby signed back in the day, talking about the Yoruba religion in Beyonce. Once again, somebody else is talking about Beyonce being a witch. At the end of the interview, he goes on to call the interviewer brainwashed. Yet he's the one feeding dead people. Guys, pay attention to who you're listening to and the songs you're singing. Because a lot of different times you're singing to an ancestor or a different god you have no idea you're singing to. Why? Because you're choosing to listen to these witches and these warlocks. This is why I always say be careful what goes into your eyes and your ears, because these are your portals. These are your gates. You need to hold firm at your gates and keep your gates closed and locked, because once you open them to the wrong spiritual things, that's when you come into agreement with demonic activity.
Worst police sketches of criminals. Glenn Rundled. Joseph Weir. DeAndre Charles. Hung Nguyen. Pedro Bruno. Paula Roach.
If I'm being honest, the last one wasn't that bad, but honestly, for the rest of them, they could have literally paid me and I would have did way better.
I told y'all that Donald Trump said that these holidays are hurting our economy. I mean, did y'all see that Dollar Tree is putting glass doors on their shelves now? But nonetheless, right? Donald Trump said he was canceling the holidays, and now Mariah Carey, who is known for Christmas, for the holidays with the songs and everything like that, her commercial literally just told y'all that Christmas is canceled, literally telling you guys.
Halloween slate, but now it's spill the tea. Who's the thief? Busted!
Bad news, Mariah Carey. The elves are striking this year. Elf revenge for putting us through holiday hell. Santa's helper quit. I'm plotting all this so I can afford elf therapy.
That's my blush, elf boy.
Your lipstick? I'm taking it. Christmas is canceled. No bells, no cheer, no glam. Bye, sweetie.
You can't cancel Christmas.
Any last words?
Did y'all hear that? Y'all, it's so bad out there that the elves can't afford to feed themselves, so they gotta sell things off too. See, a lot of y'all think this is joking, but Mariah is known as the voice of Christmas. When the elves took her lipstick away, her lipsticks to our ears, right? Her song, her music, which what we know Mariah to be famous for, she's literally telling y'all to signal that this stuff is really over, y'all. Like, we're literally in a new timeline. Things have shifted, y'all. So if Christmas is canceled, then what's getting ready to replace it? Let me know down in the comments below, y'all. The shift is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
You gotta call him for that.
You sure?
Yeah, because people's not reacting at all.
If you didn't know any better, looking at this fighter, you might think that he's ready to go back out there and throw some more punches and be on the receiving end, but you would be wrong. This is a video that was sent to me through Facebook DM. In it, this fighter can be seen standing right here. We have somebody checking up on him, making sure that he's okay. You can see that she's checking his eyes, stating that his pupils are not reacting, and her deciding not to let him fight very well might have just saved his life. For those that don't know, your pupils react to light. The more light there is, the smaller your pupils get, and the less light, the larger they get. In certain scenarios, though, your pupils might not react, and this is a telltale sign of damage to your brainstem, especially involving activities like fighting, where you're getting hit in the head. And this is very dangerous because your brainstem controls all of your essential things like breathing, heartbeat, etc. If it shuts down, you shut down, and you're dead. So had this guy been allowed to go back out there and potentially sustained more damage to his brainstem, he might have found himself dead. So yeah, definitely right idea to pull him out.
See, that's a real hero right there. They say not all heroes wear capes, and she definitely wasn't wearing a cape, but you know what I'm saying? She could have let him continue and completely shatter his brain, but you know what I'm saying? She saved a life.
This woman just found out what happens when we die. Charlotte Holmes, the woman in this photo, died for 11 minutes and shared a horrifying warning about what actually happened. But it's far crazier than that because it's not just her, it goes simultaneously with what a lot of people have been saying recently. So I've spoken before and we know about the research that came out a year ago where our brain is still active after we die. And after we are gone, our brain is still active in a state that's almost dreamlike, or processing memories, or being in a lucid state. Now, this woman claimed that she could see, hear, smell everything around her on the operating table where she was and almost look at herself on the table. She said there was a large light by the door and there was flowers in the room. She knew that there wasn't flowers there when she was alive, so she knew she was gone. But also a chilling statement that said, hell is real, and I know it now. But what the hell does that mean? There has been quite a few of these near-death experiences of people that have come back saying very similar things to what this lady said of seeing yourself or living in a state that is like real life but you're not actually alive. So with your brain being active still, maybe you are actively producing a new existence that you think is real, but you're not even alive.
Did you know when you're getting drunk, whatever spirit that's inside of you, that spirit gonna come out of you? There's something deep, dark inside of certain people. And when that demon know they can't operate right, that demon get right in their body and start acting just like them. That demon knows their thoughts, so everything that's bad, that's worse, that demon gonna say it to everybody it wanna say it to. Because when the demon wanna use you to destroy other people, it's gonna say things that you've been thinking for a long time. It can be somebody that you don't like and you know all their business. You gonna say it when you get drunk, when you get pissed off. Because that jealousy and envy spirit is all up on you. So when you see somebody drunk saying something, that demon is using them to say things that they've been wanting to say, but they've been keeping it to themselves. They got it in their mind, but they ain't brave enough to say it. But that demon don't care about saying it. Because that demon all about destruction anyway, and tearing you down, and messing up everything around you. So that demon don't care about using you. Because when that demon gone, when that drunk is over with, you the one got to deal with the problem. That demon gone.
1942, a man walked out of a building and was immediately struck by lightning. 27 years later, he was driving his truck and a lightning bolt struck him through the window, burning off his hair and his eyebrows. A year after that, his shoulder was struck by lightning in his front yard. By this time, all his hair had grown back, but then 2 years later, the lightning bolt struck him again, burning off all of his hair again. By this time, he started suspecting something supernatural, so he started carrying a bucket of water with him at all times in case his hair caught on fire. The following year, he was struck and his hair caught on fire again, but this time he was able to save it with his water bucket. 3 years later, he saw lightning strike in the distance and he tried to run from it, but it struck him again for the 6th time. The next year, he was struck on the head again, and guess what? His hair caught on fire. The man miraculously survived all 7 lightning strikes.
If that's a true story, I think that guy should honestly play the lotto.
A man was pulled over by police one night, but when he was asked to take a breathalyzer test, his reading came back at a life-threatening 0.91% blood alcohol level, over 4 times Belgium's legal limit of 0.22. But there was one problem. The man hadn't had a drop of alcohol, and as impossible as it sounded, he was telling the truth. The officers didn't hesitate to arrest him, since it seemed he was drunk behind the wheel. Not only that, but he had his license suspended for the same offense a few years earlier. This time, however, doctors began to look closer. They discovered he suffered from a rare condition called autobrewery syndrome. His gut was full of special bacteria that were literally turning carbs like bread and rice into alcohol, enough to intoxicate him without a single drink. After the charges were dropped, he went on a low-carb diet to prevent his gut from making any more booze.
Guys, this is massive. What you are looking at is believed to be the first recorded sighting in history of a leucistic Iberian lynx. Photographer Angel Hidalgo captured this footage somewhere in the Jaén Mountains in Spain, but the exact location is being kept a secret to protect it. Now, at first, some were skeptical if this actually was a leucistic Iberian lynx, but local media report after analysis of the images by specialists from the Lynx Project, it has been confirmed that this is a leucistic specimen and the first officially documented in Spain and possibly the entire world. You are witnessing history right here. Not only is the Iberian lynx extremely rare with only about 2,000 in existence, but to see one that is also leucistic, which means it's got a white coat, is almost mythical.
Old video pops up of a news reporter asking Beyonce what is her relationship to God.
What's your relationship to God? I'm sorry? What's your relationship to God? With God? God is my everything. He created everybody, everything, and I love him, and he is the reason why I sing. Beyonce. Thank you.
See, that was before Beyonce was calling God Father, Mother, God. That was before her indoctrination with Jay-Z. That was back when she was actually serving the one true living God. That was back before she got involved with the Ifa religion. Back before she got involved with Oshun, with different deities. That was back before she was making sacrifices to a false altar. So yes, there was a time when Beyonce was really praying to the true God, really serving the true God. But like many different individuals, she has went astray. But different people we have talked about that went astray, when we went into prayer for them, many of them have come back. So when we show different videos of Beyonce, we don't do it to just bash Beyonce. The videos aren't shown just so that you can see the evil, but the videos are shown so that you can fight against the evil. The videos are shown so you can pray for this individual. At the end of the day, she's a falling sister. At the end of the day, she's a very, very lost soul because she has everything she wants, Yes, she's out there doing witchcraft and rituals, but I don't hate Beyonce at all. I truly pray she comes back into light, and you should too.
Are house parties making a comeback? What you are seeing is footage of an insane Halloween party that got way out of hand and had to be shut down by police. Now, this happened in Woodland Hills, LA, and according to Royal News, who captured this footage, the host initially promoted this party online, selling tickets in advance for just $35, but then charged up to $150 for whoever wanted to pay at the door. But similar to the real Project X, way more people turned up than anticipated, and things quickly started getting out of control. Dozens of 911 calls started flooding in, reporting injuries from stampedes. A massive fight broke out, people were spilling out into the streets, and the LAPD's air support unit estimated over 3,000 people in that neighborhood alone. When police turned up, one teenager was discovered lying unconscious in the street and was rushed to hospital. Several others were treated for injuries that they sustained in the stampede. And you'd think that most people would condemn this kind of behavior. But 2025's been so rough that people were actually proud, saying things like the earth was healing because the kids are partying again, and that there was still hope for the next generation after all.
Yo, they looked so lit. That was actually crazy. In my opinion, I really want to know who got in trouble for that. Like who threw the party, and what did the cops do? Because 3,000 people, that's a lot of people, man. Hopefully, I don't think anyone died though. I think people are just injured or they just passed out because, you know, when you go to stuff like this, some people tend to do too much or, like, you know what I'm saying, have a little bit too much. So they end up passing out, end up doing some stupid stuff. So hopefully no one died. As long as everyone just, you know what I'm saying, was chill, had a little fun, they'll be straight.
Thank you all for watching this here.